is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 4. Coverage you can count on.
Right now at 4, a local EMS employee has tested positive for COVID-19, and 4 firefighters who work with that person are now in isolation. What officials say is being done to keep other staff and patients safe. Plus, how Orlando police are trying to further cut down on how many people are still out with the stay-at-home order in place. And state health officials say Florida has more than 6,300 positive cases of COVID-19. The major changes officials at the Orange County Convention Center testing site just made for patients. And this is some breaking news happening in just this last 30 minutes. Officials at the Orange County Convention Center testing site said starting tomorrow, they will allow anyone with pre-existing conditions, respiratory symptoms, or a fever to be tested there. Good afternoon, I'm Greg Wormuth.
That is big news. I'm Vanessa Eccles, and Governor Ron DeSantis is expected to give an update on Florida's fight against coronavirus in about 30 minutes, and we will bring that to you live right here when it happens on Eyewitness News. We have a team of reporters spread out across Central Florida and in Washington, D.C. Over the next 2.5 hours, they will bring you new stories about the impact of the coronavirus for us here in Central Florida and what's being done to fight it. We begin with Channel 9's Lauren Seabrook, who's here to break down the big changes at the Orange County Convention Center. Lauren.
Vanessa, this is huge for our community. It became very clear over the weekend that we have a lot more people in our community who need to be tested than just senior citizens. And now anyone with a pre-existing condition or anyone with a fever or cough can be tested at Orange County's Convention Center drive-through site. Now, before now, you had to be 65 or older with respiratory symptoms and an on-site fever of 99.6 degrees or higher. Or you could be a first responder or medical staff. They're still testing all of those people too. But members of the National Guard who are running that site did a case study to determine the true needs of Central Florida. And they are calling this a game changer. We told you yesterday more than 1,500 people have been tested there so far, but they have turned away nearly 500 people. Those are people who felt they needed to be tested but didn't meet the criteria. And for some, they didn't even know about the criteria until they got there. And remember, the median age of positive patients in Orange County is 45 years old. That is much younger than that 65 or older standard. The pre-existing conditions they'll consider are things like cancer, diabetes, asthma, high blood pressure, or maybe an autoimmune disorder, many other things as well. And you won't need anything to prove you have those issues. They tell us they are going off the honor system. Guardsmen running the site showed the numbers were down over the weekend and the lines were getting short at times once people started to realize they wouldn't be tested. Now they're expecting a big influx tomorrow.
We were able to take the needs of this community of Orange County and the surrounding areas of Central Florida and show them that we needed to open up that criteria. So with their guidance, they allowed us to do that.
So here's the thing, though. They are still only allowed to test 250 people a day. So once they hit that number, the site will close down for the day. They are open 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. every day, even over the weekend. And they believe they do have enough supplies right now to go into next week. They ask that you bring your health insurance card and an ID, but the test, Greg, will be free.
All right, that is some big news and a game changer. A Lake County EMS employee has tested positive for COVID-19. They are self-isolating, but they aren't the only one. We found out that 4 Clermont firefighters and another paramedic working with the EMS employee were also placed in isolation for possible exposure. Channel 9's Mert Price talked with Clermont and county officials about what's being done now to keep employees and patients safe.
We were notified Sunday morning around 8 a.m. that we had a Lake County employee that was under suspicion for having COVID-19. She had had contact with one of our crews.
So the chief and city leaders removed the 4 firefighters who were possibly exposed to the virus while working alongside a Lake EMS employee. Later that day, the Lake EMS employee tested positive. The Station 1 crew was immediately instructed to self-isolate for 14 days on a no-work order following direction from the Florida Department of Health. So far, none of them have reported any symptoms. Now, the Lake employee who tested positive has not worked in any other Clermont fire station since 7 a.m. on March 26th. Officials say the employee only had contact with this one crew. Now, we asked officials if the exposure happened on the job, and they explained.
We were informed that it was a communal spread, so it was somebody outside of the work environment that she came into contact with.
We reached out to the county and were told because of HIPAA guidelines, officials can't say a lot. But in a statement, they told us The EMT was given a patient isolation kit, which includes a thermometer, gloves, hand sanitizer, surgical mask, and a spray bottle of disinfectant to help prevent spreading. The employee's EMS partner is also in off-duty isolation and is being monitored through daily check-ins. Clermont fire officials told us they don't believe anyone else was exposed on the job to that Lake EMS employee who tested positive for the coronavirus. Bert Price, Channel 9. Eyewitness News.
In the last few minutes, the stock market closed slightly down. The Dow Jones closed down 300 points. Now, this comes as the federal government and private industries try to turn the economic tide in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Unemployment claims are forecast to see another spike, while some corporations are shifting their usual manufacturing resources to making masks and medical supplies. And as ABC's Andrew Dimbert reports, lawmakers are discussing another potential stimulus deal.
Novel coronavirus cases continue to climb and unemployment claims are forecast to hit another record high due to the pandemic. Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi projects 4.5 million new unemployment claims could be reported this week, while a devastating decline in demand for travel and other service industries is leading to more workers to be out of a job. Some corporations caught in the financial fallout are shifting production priorities to much needed safety protection. MyPillow CEO Mike Lindell says his company is dedicating manufacturing to producing cotton face masks, and Blue Delta Jeans is doing the same.
Currently, we've paused all production on jeans, and we're focusing on face guards.
The mass manufacturing of masks comes while President Trump may reverse the administration's guidance on protective face wear, saying all Americans may need to wear them in public.
So we'll take a look at it for a period of time, not forever. I mean, we want our country back. We're not going to be wearing masks forever.
But masks and medical equipment critical to coronavirus still seem to be in short supply in the states that need them the most.
It's like being on eBay with 50 other states bidding on a ventilator.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has indicated that House Democrats are working on a fourth financial relief package aimed at sending more money to states in desperate need and another round of cash payments to Americans. Even after the most recent $2 trillion stimulus deal was signed into law, Trump seeming to agree with Pelosi on another round of aid, tweeting, "It should be very big and bold, $2 trillion, and be focused solely on jobs." Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Congress is on recess and scheduled to return to work April 20th, but with another potential stimulus deal on the table, lawmakers could return to Capitol Hill sooner than that.
Certainly, as you know by now, Central Florida theme parks are all closed because of the COVID-19 outbreak. Some people are wondering what that means for pass holders. Disney says passes will be extended for the number of days the parks are closed. So far, that's been a little more than 2 weeks. The parks are scheduled to remain closed until further notice. Meanwhile, pass holders will continue to make payments during the closure. Also, Disney says the blockout date calendar will not change. And at Universal Parks, they are currently scheduled to be closed through Sunday, April 19th. Similar to Disney, Universal passes will also be extended for the number of days the parks are closed. And blockout dates will not change. What's different, pass holders at Universal will not have to make monthly payments during the closure, however long it lasts. And at SeaWorld, annual and season passes will also be extended for the length of the closure. This applies for Busch Gardens in Tampa as well. The parks are both closed here locally until further notice. SeaWorld officials have not made any announcements about blockout dates or payment plans. Vanessa?
Orlando police are handing out flyers when they're responding to people violating the social distancing guidelines. Those flyers feature the recommendations from the CDC. Channel 9's Steve Barrett shows us how the flyers are being used by officers on the streets.
Today, Orlando's police chief says that he actually has more officers out on the streets because school resource officers have now been reassigned. Add that to the fact that they have fewer calls for service in the city right now, so the city has decided that they'll arm their officers with this information for those who are still on the streets. The Orlando Police Department will begin passing out these flyers as they try to reduce the number of people in public places even more. Just yesterday, Chief Orlando Rolone encountered someone who did not need to be on the streets.
And as I'm waiting at a traffic light, someone rear-ended me while on the way to the other call.
Right now, one officer is already out after testing positive for COVID-19. Several others are quarantined as a precaution. So the flyers are a way to keep contact to a minimum and information at a maximum. It lists in simple terms what citizens cannot do, but it also says what they can do.
It also explains some of the things that people can do while this order is in place, like going to the grocery store, going to the pharmacy, going to a doctor's appointment. Construction workers can go to work. A landscaper can go ahead and basically do landscaping.
The police department has received calls about a number of churches that may have held services over the weekend. Some officers are encountering gatherings on street corners and in parks.
Every once in a while you get a call about a basketball court where, someone is playing basketball or a group of people are playing basketball. Those are one in a few that we get occasionally.
Those phone calls are encouraged, even if arresting violators is not a primary objective.
Every time you have someone who does that, basically it sends a message to someone else that maybe it's okay to do so. It also angers some people.
And the chief also told us about that officer who tested positive for COVID-19. He says that officer right now is doing very well. Reporting in Orlando, Steve Barrett, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Steve, speaking of that, late this afternoon, Orange County Sheriff John Mina said one of his deputies who has coronavirus is also making some real progress in his fight against the disease.
I just talked to him, and he's doing much better. He said that his cough is finally going away. He finally feels like he's getting his energy back, and he's really looking forward to getting to work, and he feels relieved that he's starting to feel normal again.
Sheriff, is there any concern that he intermingled with your team or with the public?
So we're not concerned about that, and the reason is he was an overseas traveler, and he came back and immediately self-quarantined, so he has not been back to work since he returned to the States.
The sheriff told me that they are making sure deputies responding to a sick person have the proper personal protective equipment. He also said people, for the most part, are following the stay-at-home orders in Orange County. You can see my entire interview with Sheriff Mina this Sunday on Central Florida Spotlight at 12:30.